All right, everybody, welcome back to the #1 television program in the history of the entire universe. I am Brian Lee Durfee, author of The Forgetting Moon, The Lonesome Crown, and The Blackest Heart. All three books published by Simon & Schuster's Saga Press. Today, I am going to be reviewing another Steven Brust book, and this is 500 years after. This book came out in 1994. It is the direct sequel to The Phoenix Guards, which I reviewed a few years ago on the channel. So if you want to watch The Phoenix Guards review before this review, just type in The Phoenix Guards into your YouTube search bar, along with my last name, and that video book review will magically appear upon your computer screen. So these two books go together, book 1, book 2, and then that is followed up by a trilogy of books to wrap out the series, which in 5 books. And they're right here. We've got Paths of the Dead, The Land of Castle Black, or The Lord of Castle Black, and Sethra Levode. So those are the 3 books that round out the trilogy. This is actually a trilogy. Book 1, book 2, and then book 3 is actually broken up into 3 books, if that makes sense. Now, overall, in the arc of Steven Brust novels, these books all take place in his even bigger series, the Vlad Taltos series, which if you watch my Steven Brust book collection video, I go over the whole thing. So he writes 99% of his fantasy books in this same world, and this is the world we're in here for 500 years after. Now, let's talk about the covers first, because you know I love graphic design and cover illustration. This has a great cover illustration by Sam Rakeland. Now, Sam Rakeland also did the cover for book 1. I really like these covers, some of my favorites. I like the font that was used, and I like how they look together on the shelf. Spines out. So, this series is sort of written in the style of Alexandre Dumas and the Three Musketeers. It's got a flair for language with a hint of the absurd. Not just a hint of the absurd. I mean, the absurd is bludgeoning you over the head with this dialogue. The way he creates the dialogue in these books is absolutely magical and funny and redundant and silly and absurd. And that's most of the reason you read these books, is just because the way these characters communicate back and forth. It is in that old-timey sort of Three Musketeers, wordy, redundant speech. And it's just delightful because Steven Brust sort of takes what Alexandre Dumas did in the Three Musketeers, stirs it all together in these books. You know, this is the Three Musketeers, and then the sequel to Three Musketeers was 20 years after. Of course, we get 500 years after here. And then the last book in the Three Musketeers trilogy was, the Man in the Iron Mask, which, we've got over here. And so it's kind of like a spoof, not a spoof, it's not even a spoof. It's more of like a very affectionate homage to the Three Musketeers story. So in book 1, we meet our main characters, Kavren, Pell, Eric, and Tazendra, representing sort of the Musketeers. And they join the Phoenix Guard, and this world that Steven Brust has created is kind of like, there's the Dragarians and then the humans. There's all these noble houses with different signatures like Phoenix, Etheria, Hawk, Dragon, Orca. All of these different houses with different races and different things going on, different attributes. And they all kind of are meshed to live together in this kind of world of political intrigue, assassination, thievery, kings, queens, knights, gladiators, assassins, and all that together kind of boiled into this one pot. all of them with their little plots and betrayals and everything. And then we've got the Phoenix Guards, who kind of are these guys that sort of guard the whole thing. They're sort of like known as the police. And that's kind of where the Musketeers things come in book number 1, where we meet our guys, our main 4 players that become those Musketeers. And they join the guard ship of the Emperor and have adventure. And now they're back for more adventures. And so we get the same 4. Kavren, he's older now. Clearly he's 500 years older. He's less cavalier and hot-headed in this book because he's gained experience. He was a young man of 100 years old in this book. Now he's 500 years and seasoned as a veteran in the Phoenix Guard. He's less cavalier, less hot-headed, more caring, more responsible. But yet again, at the same time, he's kind of realizing that his devotion to the Emperor is, he takes that, though he takes it more seriously, he also is starting to realize it's going unappreciated. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody cares that he's sort of really starting to take this job serious. And then there's some plots, political intrigues, things going on. Won't get into that too much, just so you can discover it on your own. But we get to meet some of our great favorite characters that have wandered through these books. Not only do they wander through these books, but all these characters sort of wander through the Vlad Taltos series also, and that Sethra Lavode and Illyria, I think it's Illyra, the 2 sort of sorceresses. They're at constant odds with each other, which is fun. We've got Illyria's father, Adron, makes an appearance in this book. Mario the Assassin, one of the favorites of the Vlad Taltos books, he makes an appearance in this book. There's plenty of betrayal, plenty of swordplay, and I got to tell you, there's a grand finale, a grand battle at the end of this that's just really cool. Leads up to a pretty good climax there. So anyway, I'll read the back of it just because it probably does a better job than I did of describing this. So 500, at last, the sequel to Steven Brust's glittering bestseller, The Phoenix Guards. This is 500 years after, in which our heroes, Kavren, Pell, Eric, and Tizendra, are reunited again a mere 5 centuries later, just in time for an uprising that threatens to destroy the Imperial Orb itself. This is the story of the conspiracy against the Empire that begins in the mean streets of the Underside and flourishes in the courtly politics of the palace, where Kavren has loyally served in the Phoenix Guards these past half millennia. In this tale, it is a tale of the Dragon Lord Adron's overwhelming scheme and his brilliant daughter Illyria, and of the eldritch Sethra Lavode. So yeah, this is kind of the tale of... This tale sort of sets up, actually, this book sort of sets up a lot of what happens in all of the Vlad Taltos books. Anyway, I give this, enjoyed this. This is great, this stuff. I love Steven Brust. I give this 9.5 out of 10. Just a great, great book. Anyway, that's that.